Good morning, students. Myself Jeenu Malik. I will help you to understand geography of class 10th. Dear students, we have discussed our ongoing chapter Minerals and Energy Resources up to the topic Conventional Sources of Energy. Now, let's proceed further. In today's class, we will know about non-conventional sources of energy. And under this heading, we will discuss some examples of non-conventional sources of energy. These examples are nuclear and atomic energy, solar energy, wind power, biogas, tidal energy, geothermal energy. After the discussion of examples, we also learn about the conservation of energy resources. Now, let's start with the meaning of non-conventional sources of energy. Dear students, such sources that are continuously replenished by natural processes are called non-conventional sources of energy. These sources are also called renewable energy sources. For example, solar energy, wind energy, etc. Now the question is why we need to use non-conventional sources of energy while we have conventional energy sources. Dear students, in that case, we can say that as development taking place in a country and to meet the need of growing population has resulted the growing consumption of energy sources, which has resulted in the country becoming dependent on fossil fuels, and the rising prices of the fossil fuels and their potential shortage have raised uncertainties about the security of energy supply in future. Increasing use of fossil fuel also cause the serious environmental problems. That's why there is a primary need to use renewable energy sources like solar, wind, tidal, biomass energy, etc. so that we can save our environment and also give time to replenish the storage of conventional sources of energy. Dear students, now let's discuss the example of non-conventional sources of energy one by one. The first one is nuclear or atomic energy. Dear students, atomic energy obtained by altering the structure of atoms. A nuclear power plant uses the fission process to split uranium atoms to create a powerful heat energy that boils water. The water turns into high pressured steam that spins a turbine that powers a generator to create electricity. Dear students, now let's understand this whole process with the help of a model. In this model, you can see the reactor vessels, turbine, generator, and electricity. At the first stage, the heat produced during nuclear fission in the reactor core is used to boil water, and that boiled water pumped into this tube which turn into steam, and that steam turns the blade of a steam turbine here, and as the turbine blades turn they drive generators, and that generator produce electricity which we consume at our home or industry. Dear students, in India, uranium and thorium, which are available in Jharkhand and the Aravalli mountain range of Rajasthan, are used for generating atomic energy. Along with this, monazite sands of Kerala is also rich in thorium. Our next example of non-conventional sources of energy is solar energy. Solar energy means the power or heat that comes from the sun. Dear students, the sun is a renewable resource that has the power to fuel life on earth. Sun provides us clean and sustainable energy, and that energy can be converted into electricity with the help of solar photovoltaic modules. Here, photo means light and voltaic means electricity. With the help of our next slide, we can see how solar energy works. Dear students, photovoltaic modules absorb sunlight and convert this energy into a usable form of electrical current. Solar panel also can be paired with batteries for energy storage. Now we must know why should we use solar energy. Dear students, solar electrical system can be independent of the utility grid, so this characteristic making it cost effective for remote location. Solar module have no moving part making maintenance cost low, and they are highly reliable with a long service life of 25 plus years of guaranteed electricity. As you know that solar electricity relies on the sun as its fuel source, which make it less expensive. And dear students, being a underdeveloping country and that provides us enormous possibilities of tapping solar energy. In India, solar energy is fast becoming popular in the remote and the rural areas because it will minimize the dependency of rural household on firewood and cattle dung cake, which in turn will contribute to environmental conservation and adequate supply of manure in agriculture. Let's see the model of solar energy. Here you can see the solar panel. Dear students, these panel composed of many smaller photovoltaic cells which link together. So at the first step, sunlight hit the layers of your solar panels and photons and electrons interact to create an electrical current. At the second step, this electrical current flow from the panel down to your solar inverter, which convert the energy generated from your panel into usable energy for your home. In other words, you can say that inverter converts electricity from direct current to alternating current. At the third step, the alternating current energy flow from inverter into your breaker box, which will then circulate it throughout your home. Here, at the fourth stage, there are two ways to use the alternating current. The first way is any unused alternating current will flow back to your utility meter and remain there for consumption. In the second way, the homeowners have the ability to return the unused alternating current back to the electric grid in the form of energy credit on their next power bill. So, next example of non-conventional sources of energy is wind energy. Dear students, wind energy means such a process by which the wind is used to generate electricity. And as you know that wind is an inexhaustible source of energy. Let's understand the process of wind energy. High speedy wind rotates the windmills which is connected to a generator and that generator produces electricity. Wind farms having the clusters of windmills, and these windmills are located in the coastal region and in the mountain passes where strong and steady winds blow. And you know very well that India has such a long coastline and various mountain passes. That's why India has great potential of wind power. If we talk about the major or important wind farm situated in India, then it is located in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, Kerala, Maharashtra, and Lakshadweep. Now let's understand how wind turbine works. Dear student, wind turbines operate on a simple principle. The wind turns the blade which are connected to a rotor and that rotor powers a generator. Here in this image you can see the air are blades, rotors, shaft, gearbox and this is generator. So at the first step, as the wind passes by, it makes the blade spin around and the blades attached to the rotor in turn spin the shaft. At the second stage, a gearbox which increase the speed of the spinning blades enough to power the electricity generator. And the third step, the generator converts the mechanical energy of moving wind into the electrical energy. The next example of non-conventional source of energy is biogas. Dear students, in this source of energy, organic waste materials such as dead plants cattle dung cake, kitchen waste material can be converted into gaseous fuel, which we called biogas. Biogas is excellent fuel for cooking, lighting, and produce huge amount of organic manure. Dear students, these biogas plants are set up at municipal, corporative, and individual level. And as you know that cattle dung cake is used in these plants, so we also know them as gobar gas plant in rural India. These plants provide twin benefit to the farmer in the form of energy and improve the quality of manure. Now let's understand the working of a biogas plant. In the starting, the biogas plant is the mixing tank. In this mixing tank, the biomass is mixed with water and form a slurry. A slurry is composition of water and cow dung. That's why it is also known as a slurry region. After this step, this slurry enters the digester, which is a airtight chamber. In this area, with the absence of oxygen and the presence of microorganisms capable of decomposing the substance in the absence of oxygen. Thus, these microorganisms in the digester decompose the biomass, that is, breaks down the complex substance into the basic substance like methane, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, etc. These gases produced are stored in the gas tank, and whenever required, these gases are taken out through the gas outlet. Side products other than gas produced during the decomposition of biomass are manure and fertilizers. Let's see a model of biogas plant. Here a mixing tank where the biomass is mixed with water to form a slurry. Here slurry enters the digester. Here is a digester tank where in the absence of oxygen bacteria are capable of decomposing the substance. Here the gas valve where we can use the gases whenever we required. यहाँ पे गैस की फॉर्मेशन हो जाती है. And these are the outlet chambers जहाँ से हम fertilizers और manure जो है उनको बाहर निकाल सकते हैं. So this is the steps of a biogas plant. Our next example of non-conventional source of energy is tidal energy. Dear student, in this form of energy, oceanic tides can be used to generate electricity. Tidal energy is harnessed by constructing a dam near the shores. During the high tides, water flows into the dam, and during the low tides, water flows out. So this flowing process of water rotates the power generating turbines which present at the opening of the dam and produce electricity. Let's understand with the help of tidal power station. Here you can see there are two gates. ये ओपनिंग गेट है, ये क्लोजिंग गेट है. यहाँ से वाटर एंटर करता है विच हिट दिस पावर जनरेटिंग टर्बाइन, और जैसे ही ये टर्बाइन टर्न्स करती है, इसके ब्लेड टर्न करते हैं तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट होती है जो हम यूज करते हैं, और यहाँ से वाटर जो है वो एग्जिट कर जाता है. उसके बाद ये गेट जो है वो क्लोज हो जाता है. सो दिस इज द बेसिक मॉडल ऑफ अ टाइडल पावर स्टेशन. Our next example of non-conventional source of energy is geothermal energy. Here geo means earth. So when heat energy obtained from the earth, it is called geothermal energy. Dear students, geothermal energy exists because the earth grows progressively hotter with increasing depth. So where the geothermal gradients is high, high temperatures are found at shallow depth. Groundwater in such areas absorb heat from the rocks and becomes hot. It is so hot that when it rises to the earth's surface, it turns into steam. And this steam is used to drive turbines and generate electricity. If we talk about in India, there are several hundred hot springs in India. For examples, Manikarnan in Himachal Pradesh, Pugai Valley in Ladakh. These are two experimental projects which have been set up in India to harness the geothermal energy. Now let's understand the process of geothermal energy with the help of a model. Here you can see the magma, and magma is really very hot. So यहाँ से ये hotness जो है ये इन rocks ने absorb कर ली, जहाँ से उसके ऊपर जो ground water एग्जिस्ट करता था वो अपने आप में हॉट हो गया, और इस हॉट वाटर की जो स्टीम्स थी उनको हमने एग्जर्ट किया बाहर की तरफ, जहां पर उन्होंने टरबाइन को रोटेट किया और जिससे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस हो गई। उसके बाद इन वॉल्व से स्टीम जो है वो बाहर निकल गई और यहां से वाटर जो है वो वापस ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल में चला गया। सो दिस इज द होल प्रोसेस ऑफ जियोथर्मल plant. After the discussion of examples, now one more important aspect we have to discuss, and that is need of conservation of energy resources. Dear students, energy is a basic requirement for economic development. Every sector of the national economy, it may be agriculture, it may be industry, transport, commercial and domestic sector, all needs input of energy to remain operational. So, as a result, consumption of energy in all forms has been rising all over the country. And India is presently one of the least energy efficient country in the world. So, what we have to do? We have to adopt a wise approach for the judicious use of our limited energy resources, and we also adopt a twin plank of sustainable energy. And what is that twin plank? The first one is to promote the energy conservation, and the second is to increase the use of renewable energy resources. Dear students, now after knowing the importance of conservation, let's see how we can conserve energy resources. Dear students, we can use public transport system instead of individual vehicles. We also can switching off the electricity when not in use. Along with this, using the power saving devices and using the non-conventional source of energy, we can conserve the energy resources. In other words, we can say that after all, energy saved is energy produced. So, dear students, with this topic, we sum up our today's class. We will meet soon in our next class with a new topic. Till then, stay happy, blessed, do hard work. Thanks.